What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, Ian. How's everybody doing? I hope you all are having an amazing day as I'm recording this at 12:34. Yeah, I was not being very responsible and decided not to record a video over the weekend from Friday to Sunday because I don't know, it's summer break. I can do whatever I want. So that means we're living on the same day right now if you're watching this the day it released. What's up, guys? Yep, recording Monday's video on Monday. I used to do this like 2 weeks in advance, but now I don't. I really hope this doesn't come out late either because, you know, I was looking at Chainsaw Man posters. I want to put one up in my room right here. I think it'll go right above my PC. And I'm excited, bro. This is the first video I've recorded since the announcement of Iconic by Mistake got released. You know, I'm not a huge K-pop fan, but that song... bro, I feel feeling it's gonna be crazy. I hope it's not too hyper pop though. I hope they show off some vocals. I hope they, you know, stick it to traditional, not traditional, but like, you know, more soft music. But looking at that music video teaser, there's no way it's gonna be soft. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I was searching on the internet and I found this article that looks pretty insane. I don't know about funny, but like the stuff that happens in this article, it looks kind of crazy, and I'm sure all of you would love to witness it with me. Man tackled children off bikes, dragged one into his home after being ding-dong ditched for weeks, police say. He's like the anti-hello neighbor. You come onto his property to mess with him, see what's going on with his house, he drags you inside instead of kicking you out. Isn't that kind of counterintuitive if you think about it? I mean, the kids are on your property, messing with your property, ding-dong ditching you, so wouldn't it be better for them to leave the property instead of stay on it? Not to mention the fact that kidnapping a child is incredibly illegal. Like, what is this guy doing? Sure, they shouldn't have been ding-dong ditching you, but now you're just in jail. That's not better. I would much rather be sitting at home watching Netflix, being ding-dong ditched on my couch, rather than being ding-dong down in my prison cell. Also, this guy must be an Olympic sprinter or something, and looking at this picture of him, he definitely does not look like one. But little kids on bikes, bro, when I used to ride my bike every single day, I could probably speed that thing down my neighborhood over 25 miles an hour. And I know this because my mom called me. She was like, yo, are you in a car right now? And I was like, no, what do you mean? She was like, Life 360 is telling me that you're driving a car at 25 miles an hour. I was like, there's no way. A man in South Carolina is facing charges after police said he attacked children who were ding-dong ditching him for weeks. Mount Pleasant police said Chad Larson, 50, is charged with kidnapping, assault, and battery of a high and aggravated nature, and assault and battery in the 3rd degree. Bro, he was really just letting his anger out on this day. You wanna ding-dong ditch me? What if I ding your face in so hard that it makes a cavity that's bigger than your mouth? You touch my doorbell? And he just like reaches his fist back, smacks the kid so hard his brain like explodes in his head. Like, calm down, dude. They're just ding-dong ditching. Now, I've never been much of a ding-dong ditcher when I was a kid. You know, I was a little bit too scared for that kind of stuff. But I know I did do it a couple times. But he's 50 years old. And whether you believe it or not, that's pretty young. In my opinion, you start being able to be called old at like 65. And you know, guys, 50 years ago was only 1976. Sure, it was a long time ago and things are way different now. But like, you were not being taught that kidnapping is okay in 1976. If this guy was like 70, however, it would be like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, kidnapping's not okay, but at the same time, when you were a kid, you were getting hit on the wrist with a ruler whenever you were riding with your left hand, so come on. If you're 70, you were basically living in the Wild West times. Your cars had 1 horsepower because you were literally just riding a horse. Police said the incident happened Monday afternoon. Larson reportedly told police that 2 weeks ago, a group of children started ringing his doorbell and running away. Sometime during those 2 weeks, Larson said he drove around to try and track down the children. Or better yet, maybe just get a Ring doorbell. Filming people when they're on your property is completely legal, bro. You wanted to be like Sherlock Holmes, bro. Throw a cigarette in his mouth and just start running around playing detective. These kids are not an Avengers level threat. They're literally just kids playing ding-dong ditch. Kids do that. That's just what they do. And could you really not narrow it down at all? There's no way there's that many kids who live on your street. If you're 50, the likelihood is that, you know, you're living around people who are also 40s, 50s, 60s, around that age. People in their 50s don't usually have super young kids, and young kids like that don't even have a car. They can't even get around, so obviously they're on foot. You can't really get that far when you're ding-dong ditching and you're on foot. Larson was woken up from a nap Monday and was told that the children were outside and wanted to speak with him, a police report said. He went outside under the assumption that the children wanted to apologize, but Larson said that they used the opportunity to taunt him before taking off in bikes. I mean, that's pretty funny though, come on. I'm glad kids are still doing this too. I mean, I wish I was out there just ding-dong ditching people. I don't even have friends that go outside anymore, so that's not really an option. Even though that's just wrong, I mean, come on, at least they're outside. And I mean, that is just S-tier rage bait, bro. Bait in its finest motion. They literally just revealed their identity to the guy that they were ding-dong ditching for 2 weeks straight. That is some dedication. And then they're like, yo, haha, you can't do anything because we're juveniles and you can't do anything about it. You want to bet? He like side sweeps them, leg sweeps them, picks them up off the ground by their legs, drags them into his house. Their back is scraping on the ground. Yep. Yep, dude, did you just forget the fact that I mentioned I'm a juvenile? You're going to jail for the next 30 years. That's the rest of your life. I want to take a nap, though. Who knows, maybe when this video's going up, I'll be napping. When he realized the children were coming back, Larson hid in his neighbor's bush to wait until they got close enough for him to tackle them off their bikes, police said. Oh, no, no, no. Ooh. Is he coming back? Is he coming back? Hiding in the bush is crazy work, bro. There's nothing you can do. You're just in jail now. Like, there's nothing you can do to defend yourself from this. Bro is setting up a pounce attack to get them when they come close. That is for real just planned assault right there. That must have been horrifying for the kids too. He just jumps out the bush, tackles him out of nowhere. 400 pounds lands on you, your bike snaps in half. You're like, no, I don't want to smell your cigarette, coffee-ridden breath. Get off of me, you fat old man. You need liposuction. But this reminds me, and I'm so sad, because yesterday we were playing Flee the Facility, me and my friends, and I did not get the gameplay. I forgot to record it. And it was so funny because we were like hiding in bushes and stuff, picking each other up. It was so fun. 2 children were knocked off their bikes, and Larson held them on the ground, the report said. One of the children was able to break free. What are you gonna do now? You can't even call the police. You're using both your hands to hold them down. And on top of that, if the neighbors look out their window into your driveway and see you, holding down these 2 kids, you're in huge trouble. And that is why, kids, all of you should probably invest in a rape whistle. It's probably the most useful thing you could ever have. Even in situations where you're not being, hurt like that, but you're in danger like this situation, it would be a good idea to have one. That sounds crazy though. He must have felt like the Incredible Hulk there, just picking 2 guys up by their necks, smashing them down on the ground. I wonder if there was more than 2 kids though. That would have been crazy, because then, bro, those are not real friends. If there was a 3rd kid and he didn't do everything he could to knock that guy off you, he's not a good friend. Because what do you mean? He just tackled your friend to the ground, you just ran away. And if they fought back, bro, what plan would he have next? These kids, depending on their age, could be nearing in on their physical prime. And you're 50 years old. If they fight back, bro, you're cooked. You're gonna get beat up with a black eye, and you're gonna be going to jail for assaulting juveniles. Larson told the police he grabbed the other child by the neck and arm and dragged him into his home. Why would you admit that? I mean, obviously it's a good thing that he admitted it. He's owning up to his mistakes. But like, that's the biggest incrimination of all time. So, officer, I practically kidnapped a child and, took him into my home without his consent and dragged him in. But I mean, come on, they were ding-dong ditching me. You know what I said. Like, that's so annoying. According to the police report, Larson was holding a rock while holding the child and told the child, I should hit you with this rock. He told police he did not hit the child with the rock. Bro, who raised you? Were you raised by the Joker? Son, whenever you have problems dealing with other people, just assault them and beat them with rocks until they understand. You stepped 1 foot on my property and rang my doorbell? I'm gonna stone you now. I like how he was trying to play nice guy though. Officer, come on. I should hit him with this rock, but I decided not to, so I really was doing him a service. I should hit you with this rock, but I'm such a nice guy, I'm not gonna beat you. Thanks, man, that's so sweet of you after you just tackled me off my bike and, held me to the ground pinned where I couldn't move. That's so nice of you, thank you. And no, saying that makes you automatically wrong. I should hit you with this rock. That means bro wanted to just smack you. You can't appeal to morality, Oh, I didn't hit him with the rock though. If you said I should hit you with this rock, that means you believe that if people do stuff wrong, you could just hit them in the face. When police got to the scene, officers saw Larson holding onto the child through a closed glass door. The handle had been broken off, and an officer had to retrieve it to open the door and detain Larson. First of all, why a glass door? If you're planning on kidnapping a kid, standing in front of a glass door is not really the option here. Standing in front of a glass door showing police that you kidnapped the kid doesn't make it any better. Even though they're not gonna be like, oh, you kidnapped a kid, you're planning on killing him or whatever. You're already going to jail, so what does it really matter? Also, breaking off the door handle, that's like, bro, you cannot escape. You're not getting out of this house. I can see why he's alone though, because if he had a wife in the home, she would definitely be downstairs screaming at him to let go of the kidnapped child. This is straight up a hostage situation. Over ding-dong ditch. Ding-dong ditch your career away, bro. He's gonna have to retire early. Not on his choice either. No job is gonna take you once you do something like this. Officers called emergency medical services for the child. It is unclear if the child was hurt. I hope not, bro, but that would be a crazy story to tell people. Whenever he goes to parties, he's gonna be like, yo, I've one time fought this weird old dude because I was ding-dong ditching him and he decided to tackle me. Yeah, me and him had an epic brawl in his living room before the police busted down the door and called it a hostage situation. FBI, open up! Yo, why did my voice get higher as I was saying it? It's okay, son, you're okay. Old fat dude, please step off of it. Is it weird that this guy, now that I'm looking at him, kind of looks like my old history teacher? Not actually history, my government teacher. He looks like my government teacher for some reason. Who was the nicest dude, so he would never do that. Police said Larson cooperated with officers. He told me that he knows what he did was wrong, but he continued to speak as though the juveniles were the ones doing wrong. An officer wrote in the police report. I don't know, dude. Kidnapping and beating a child, like, potentially with a rock. That kind of outweighs ding dong ditching in my opinion, just by a little bit. That's just my opinion though. Obviously, I bet you guys have much different opinions. I bet mine's the most very unpopular opinion. But anyways, ladies and gents, that's about the end of this article. Think before you act, or else you're gonna end up in this situation where you're too deep to make it out. I hope all of you were at least a little bit entertained or enjoyed this video, because if you did, then I did my job. Then what am I saying? If any of you watching got any entertainment, any joy out of this video, then I'm so happy because I did my job, and I'm so grateful for all of you viewers. I love you all. I might go live actually today, so, you know, if you're watching this video, go check if I'm live. I don't know what I'll be streaming. I don't even know if I'll be playing games, but we'll see. And I don't do this often because I don't really like doing it, but I do want to say, everybody, if you go in the first link in the description, actually that would be the article. I think the last link in the description would be aisle 12. Would be my Discord server where all of you are welcome to hang out and talk and chat with me personally. We can hop in the VC, we can play some COD, we can do whatever you want. So without further ado, it's been amazing seeing you all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Ian. I'll catch you all later, maybe even live. So, I'll see you later. See ya.